Hello, I'm Lindsey Millar today with your news headlines. There's way too much terrible stuff going on at the Arkansas General Assembly for me to cover now and even for us to cover on the blog. In fact, the House is meeting today until 5 or 6, then they're going to adjourn for a little while and then come back and meet into the night. It's just so much to get through. I could probably just groan for the next 3 minutes, and that would be a good summation of what's going on. But I'll hit a few of the highlights, or rather lowlights. Yesterday, in the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is one of the few spots in the legislative process where Democrats can actually do anything. It's a committee that has 8 members. 4 of the 11 Democrats in the Senate packed into it, which means that if they all stay together, nothing can get out of the committee they don't want. That was where Representative Bob Ballinger's anti-gay discrimination bill that he calls a conscience act, religious conscience act, was supposed to go to die. But yesterday, for unknown reasons, Democratic State Senator David Burnett of Osceola flipped and not only allowed Ballinger's anti-gay bill to advance, he also allowed a bill from Senator Jason Rapert, that requires the Secretary of State to build a monument to the 10 Commandments on state capitol grounds. Of course, both of these, now that they're out of the committee, are sure to sail through both the House and the Senate, and then promptly there'll be lawsuits, and hopefully they won't go anywhere, but that will cost the state money. The backstory here, at least that we hear, is that Jerry Cox, the head of the Arkansas Family Council, which the Southern Poverty Law Center classifies as a hate group, went to Governor Asa Hutchinson and said, my people are who got you elected. We want this through. You need to use some of your muscle to push it. What Hutchinson was able to offer Burnett, we don't know, and can't even speculate on. This dovetails nicely into a column Max Brantley wrote this week that's also on the blog about Democrats moderating themselves to get things from Republicans. It's a tactic that does not seem to be getting Democrats anything at all, and just ultimately is bad for the state. Moving on, the State Board of Education today unanimously approved Johnny Key, former state senator, to head the Department of Education. Key, you'll remember, was Asa Hutchinson's pick earlier, despite this necessary approval by the State Board. The legislature passed a law that changes the qualifications to head the State Department of Ed, taking away the requirement of teaching experience and some post-collegiate degrees, neither of which Key had. Benji Hardy has a little analysis on what we might expect from him as the leader of the Education Department in a really crucial period for the state. The Arkansas House today easily passed Representative Matthew Shepard's restoration of capital gains cut that was somewhat rolled back in Governor Asa Hutchinson's middle class tax cut. This is something that Max Brantley has called the most unfair tax in Arkansas history. Somewhat surprisingly, Representative Kim Hendren, who's the governor's brother-in-law, a Republican from Grovette, spoke against the bill. He said that it didn't strike him as fair that the legislature can't come up with money to help poor people with Representative Warwick Savin's earned income tax credit proposal, but in this bill, there's an exemption for people with $10 million in capital gains. I mean, so it's only a handful of people, maybe 12 people. Hendren said, I don't see how we can help the fat cats while ignoring the poor, which we say amen to. This adds another $11 million to the $102 million in income taxes already passed. A couple other odds and ends. Representative Bob Ballinger, we talked about earlier, has introduced a bill to allow felons to own muzzle loaders, maybe the inalienable right to deer hunt, or to Civil War reenact, who knows. And finally, Senator Alan Clark has also introduced a bill to entirely eliminate Arkansas's already meager gambling addiction fund to combat gambling addiction. He wants it all to go to the Arkansas Lottery. Like I said, there's plenty more bad stuff out there, so check the Arkansas blog. We'll be updating it just as fast as we can. Thanks.